Hello, my name is Fatima, and I started making these LinkedIn articles probably a few years ago, specifically about what I love about what I do. But recently, I decided to go a little more techy. So I've been doing videos or articles specifically about stage management and the technical skills that I've been building and that I've been helping curate in our new young people since I'm a technical mentor for educational theater. And I'm like, in my user experience, the two main ones that I do, or the two main articles that I've written so far, is stage management, understanding the who, how, and why of the user experience, and it's how I build specific um, frameworks and how I build the actual documentations to make it easier for new volunteers and for the general community theater um, people and actors and performers um, that we receive. And the second article that I wrote recently is a toolbox framework article, the GERD model of satisficing, which means that most people create in order to optimize, create the best thing they can in the time that they have. So I actually changed the framework in the way I create to creating good enough, because good enough models are the best models to help support things that change quickly. So read the article if you want to. Feel free. It has very detailed tools that I use. But then I realized that in true user experience, it's really important to cater to and work to different learning styles. So this is the visual medium on one of the tools that I use, which is using Google Docs, which is free, in order to create ground plans. So create with me. First step one, is to build the ground plan. The ground plan is built on Google Docs, which is free. I have Google Workspace Pro because I'm a fancy lady, but Google Workspace, Google Docs, Google Excel, or Google Sheets, all of those things really don't have a lot of additional pro membership functions. So this is everything that I'm showing here. You can use on general free. I have a Gmail account, Google Workspace. I already opened it, so y'all don't gotta see me do all that. But I'm gonna show you my screen. And you'll see here a blank document. That's the first thing you see. When I'm creating a Google Doc, I think about how I like to have them oriented. So, specifically for a main ground plan, I would want it to be in landscape mode. So, insert, go to page setup, and go to landscape. Done. Make sure it's set to the page amounts that you want, which is right here. Zooming in, it says 8.5 to 11. That is standard page size. Beautiful. Too far. All right. So I have this. And then to make a drawing, which is the ground plan, you can build up your own ground plan, which sometimes you have to do. I know for our theater, we perform in a lot of different spaces, especially with our dance ensemble. And I like to always build some type of ground plan visually to help support to the dancers, to help support my blocking, and just to have. So next year, if I don't remember how the space looks, I can build, and you can do either the technical director, scenic person comes in and sends you, or you find online the ground plan and you insert it here. And I'll show you how to do that. Or I just looked at the space. I know what stuff's supposed to look like, and for most part, yeah, ground plans are supposed to have measurements, but plans that stage managers use generally are more for visual and not so much specifically for, or at least the ones that you use for your blocking or just to explain the space, does not need to have measurements. So you can use this. This is a tool specifically for that reason, and not so much for building or sending building plots to someone, because this ain't gonna work for that. All right, so go to image, drawings, and then you go to new. When you go to new, you have several shapes that you can use. Specifically, the best shapes are literal shapes. I mostly work within squares and adjust squares or circles and rectangles to build something. Most stages are squares, so I just build. I usually take out the color by just going to fill color and going to transparent. Make sure the lines are deep enough, however I want them, for whatever. And then you have like a basic stage or something, and it might have stairs, which you can do it cute like this. Fun fact, you can know how high something is, level, if you're like on a flat, like an audience is flat and then it's a raised platform or raised stage, by counting the amount of steps. Steps are 1 foot high. So if you have math lesson, three steps, that means that it is 3 foot off the ground. So if someone asks you as stage manager, because they always want you to know, how high is that from the stage, because they want to know if someone can jump off of it or whatever, you can say, there's 3 steps, 3 feet up, and then they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're such a genius. You'll be like, yeah, I just counted how many stairs. Don't tell them that though. Act like you a genius. They don't need to know. All right, so you have that, or I don't know. But also, if you have different images, which I did not prepare any specific cute images, but if you have any, like even if you have a Google image, you can do like overhead chair. Sometimes things come up. Read ground plan chair. Drawing. So that didn't work, but let me think. Chair clip art. That might be good. And this is something I'm troubleshooting with you guys so you can see kind of how I generally work through technical issues. So, all right. So, I don't know. You don't have to be perfect, but like, I don't generally, yeah. And you can, I'm just showing you specifically that you can layer. So if for some reason you have a specific, I don't know, element, such as a rock, a huge, very descriptive rock that you know is going to be on the stage, you can take that literal image of the rock and add it to this stage. Or if we know for sure that the drummers are coming on stage and there's going to be a drum, because I actually do have an image of a drum. Not that image. Type in drum. Like if you know there's going to be a drummer or something, you can actually visually add a drum. That way, you know it's there, and you don't have to do that. I'm just saying that's another way you can say from just doing shapes is you can insert actual images to the document, and then you have whatever stage you built, and then I cut out this. I'll keep the stuff that. Yeah, and then you have this, and you go, bam, stage. There's no stage that's this simple, but you can also write notes. So the reason why I have this ground plan and why I really love it in drawings is you double click or type edit drawing or double click it, and it'll take you to the drawing image, and you can add things as you learn more information. So it might be that they say that there's going to be aisle down the middle. So I literally physically build an aisle, and then I write aisle. And I actually wanted to go down the aisle, so I'm just going to trim it and go like that. And then you can change the font size, or you can change the actual shape. But to me, that don't matter as much. But if you want it to look cute, make it look cute. And then you have that there. So it makes it easier to do those things as things change. Now, you have your own special built ground plan. Spend as much time on it as you wish. Add the things that you want to add, like door. And the reason why I use this more than I do have Stage Right and other. I do have, and you can get you get some clip images, and you can build from the clip images in your uploads. The reason why I use this more than Stage Right, which Stage Right has a really, really cute ground plan software, is just because of accessibility. So when you make an edit onto ground plans on Stage Right, there's a certain amount of time that it takes to make sure you have to go to the software, you have to go to the page of the specific show that you're using, and then you have to edit within that scene. They have a master ground plan that you have that you can edit, and then you can edit the specific scenes within there, and it's not bad. But in order to make changes, my rule is 5 seconds or less to edit. If it takes more than 5 seconds to edit any document with any software that I use, then I do not use it. Things happen really fast. We have a smaller team, and in order to make things run smoothly, I don't like to spend a lot of time editing things. So I specifically find softwares, and that's why I'm making this page. Specifically find softwares that are super easy to edit. It might not be easy to create, to make this look cute, and I can show y'all. I'll actually add it to the LinkedIn, a few examples of ground plans that I've made here. It don't have to look cute, but you can take the time for it to look cute. But to make an edit, it takes 5 seconds. And let's try it with even the simple plan we have. 1, 2, director. Actually, I want the chair that we have here, or I don't know, let's say there's 3 chairs. The 3 chairs that we're going to be downstage. Now, see, when to optimize, when to satisfice, right? So the stage is actually, there ain't no stage where the chair is going to be that big. So I'm let me just make it a little smaller. And then you see that you can actually make things completely level. So if I go along, it'll tell me when it's the same width and same distance away as other documents. Well, let's say we have, or you can just go, I don't care about that, and just copy another one. So we have 3 chairs, and director says, actually, those chairs don't look right there for Act 1. You can just go, okay, you can highlight all of them, and you can just move them. Bam. Oh, I only highlighted 2. That's why it didn't work. Highlight all 3. Bam. 5 seconds. I don't want that aisle there because this is not a real aisle. This is an aisle we're creating with audience chairs. I want the aisle to be shorter. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I can't. It's hard for me to count and work, but you want the aisle to be shorter. Simple, quick edit to make that change. So that's why I use this software. Now, let's say you actually got a ground plan from a technical director or from the stage. So from the stage techs or whoever gives you ground plans, or you downloaded one by going to the website for whatever space that you're using, then you can actually edit that as well. So we're going to go to a ground plan that is for this. We're spending a month at this wonderful artistic space for our summer program. and we have a ground plan from them. Now this is the one that's not, they do have like very, very nice maps of the space. And this is not one of them that actually have all the measurements. And again, I don't think measurements are always necessary. Sometimes measurements are distracting. So you have to think about what is the user when you create things. As a stage manager, that's what I do. Who is my audience? My audience for this ground plan would be the staff that is going to be in our summer youth theater program. And do they need to know how far it is from this column to this column? No. But what they do need to know, where the stage is, where the bathrooms are. You see, you got a little bathroom, toilet, and all that stuff. Where the entrance is. That there's 2 rooms. That they can't enter those spaces. So this is all important information. And what else they need to know, where do I put stuff? So I'm going to build what I would do a simple enough ground plan. So I know that there's 12 feet from this column to this column. And we're doing 8 feet tables. So I'm going to get close to that. And I know that we're using 2 tables. And I know that the director wants the 2 tables. Let's not put it at the door because let's not put it at this actual door because you don't want to block the door. They want 2 tables to come in, and she's thinking about experience. So she wants 2 tables to be at the entrance of the stage room. So when she drops off material, or when people are late or nervous, they don't have to feel that they're being looked at when the students are looking at the stage, or when the students are looking at the projector, because the projector will be right here. All right. Keep it simple. If you click whatever image you make, you can actually edit. You can actually write text within that image. So table. And I really don't try to do any more than 10. I know that in my understanding the how, why, and when article, I talk specifically about 14, but that's really for what you need it for. For this, most people will receive this online. It will not be printed, and they can just go Zoom. And because it's a rectangle, most people will assume that it's a table. Or you tell them it's a table, just seeing the squares is big enough, and it's not a whole bunch of writing. So it's again, yes, there are rules, but they're really not rules. They're really if-then conditional statements. So if there is a lot of reading, I do bigger fonts. If there is not a lot of reading and it's a visual medium, then I do small fonts. Alrighty, that's really all for that. So once you do that, I save and close, bam, and you'll see that this is here. Under all of this, usually what I do is I do insert, horizontal line, because horizontal lines are super easy to make. Again, insert, horizontal line, and I say technical specs, tech specs. And I like to put technical specs in any ground plan that I make or plan. It's really not a ground plan because they don't have measurements. Because usually when they expect the stage manager to know the basics, or they expect whoever is the tech lead, which I'm the tech lead, to know what the space offers. So sometimes you can copy and paste it directly from the website. Sometimes you looked at the space and you know how many. I know that the max house count is 150 for this space. So that's good to have here. And I know that for audio, no in-house. We're not using their audio system. Now, do they have it? Yes, but I'm just saying what we're using and what's pertaining to us. Okay. There it goes. Now I can just look at this ground plan and go, and I can know that we will have to provide those things. No in-house stage light. They do have lights. stage lighting. Okay. And what I do after that is I copy this and I make another document, and this is going to be for my blocking notes. I always keep it in the same doc because blocking notes for a specific stage production is a template that is printed for me. The edits are faster for me. That's why, again, why I don't use StageWrite to just erase and draw than to try to use a software. And every time there's a new actor or actress, I have to create a new user profile for that actor or actress. Ooh. It's beautiful when you have very steady shows, but for me, it was not working. All right. So I have this insert, and I have, I don't gotta do all that. Just do I've copied and pasted. So you have here, you do for, again, what is my audience? When they're actually doing the show, let's assume that most likely with a small stage like this, in a youth specific show, they will probably go into the audience, and there might be notes that I need to add during blocking about the audience area. So I'm going to keep that. And the projector won't be there for the actual performance, so I'll delete this. Bam. Will the tables be there? No, because the audience don't need to see all our stuff, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And I'll have this here. Now, though, sometimes doing it this way and editing this new document creates a memory issue where the Google Doc doesn't recognize that this no longer exists and will try to space things weird. So if that happens, screenshot this image and then use the screenshots if you have like a reduced part as the ground plan. And then always edit this document. And it also helps if you do it that way, because then you'll always have a master. And my biggest issue is revisions. When you have different versions and there's no master version, it makes it hard to know which is the true version. So generally I like to have all of the edited versions being PDFs or screenshots, PNGs, JPGs, and all of the live versions to be Google Docs or something. Now, is that for everyone? No, but it helps me know if it's on Google Doc, it's the master. If it's a PDF, it's an edit. And I did not do that here, but this is just to show you that this is a way to do things. I am making blocking notes. I use blocking notes with my stage management prompt book. And I have the prompt book on one side. Again, this is in the article, one of the articles. I think it's in the, it's in the Toolbox article. I have the script on one side, and then I have the prompt book on the other side. And I write like 1, 2 on the images and connect them to whatever action or word they're using in the script. It just makes it easier to edit. Again, 5 seconds. Because I can erase. If they move the place, but they keep the blocking, I can just erase the number and put it wherever the new place is. Simple, simple, simple. All right. Now, when you do this, when you're making a ground plan with notes, always try to make sure that the image is wrap text. Now, is this the most efficient way? No, but this is my way. So, now the drawing, I think it is the most efficient. But the how to make lines, there's so many different ways to do it, and this is just the way that I do it. Google does tell you how spaced things are. For dance shows, I would do 6 to 8 ground plans, but because of the kind of the different size, kind of more square shape of my plan, it's harder to do more than 4, and I think this is perfect because each side or each blocking note page would be for one page of script. So that's probably enough. I like to date it. That way, since it's a template, it helps me to know when things were changed. Some stage managers use different colors for each time they run through. That works perfect if you run through something numerous times. They don't do it that way. So usually usually when we run through things numerous times, it's just not worth it for me to do it in different colors. I just make edits as things happen, and with one color. But if I do feel like, oh, is she gonna keep that, then maybe I'll switch colors out, because she'll be like, what did we do before? No. So, but I generally don't worry about the different colors. I just use one pencil and make changes as things happen. I use a horizontal line again, image. And this is the part where I was saying this might not be the most effective to add. But I just make a few with the spacing that I want. And then I just keep. Yeah. So that doesn't take too much longer, but there's probably a way to do it without doing that. But that's just not how I do it. And it very nicely made extra ground plans for us, because I just copied on accident numerous different ground plans together. All right. And that's it. That's how you build. Again, I'll show you, like, if you do decide that you want to edit in real time each individual, you can, like, I can add like a new element. No table here. Table close. And you can copy. But again, sometimes it errors out. It act crazy. This time it didn't, so we're lucky. But again, if it does error out, and you can't do anything specifically for it, I would say to just screenshot it. And again, the benefit of screenshotting the image and having the most updated and labeling it is, you know what it used to look like if they go back. And the ground plane is always the thing that's edited. Okay, so this was a pretty long video. I was trying to take more time, specifically build a ground plan. Second, make the blocking notes, a page, add text specs. Doesn't take too long, but it's editable. Again, 5 seconds. Doesn't take long. Does it take 5 seconds to build? No, because you saw how long it took me to build, probably without explaining 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on how detailed something is. But 5 seconds to edit. All right. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you guys want to see anything specific from the articles, or just have any questions that I can help with. The next one is going to be about why I love QLab, specifically for my 5-second rule and as a stage manager. QLab has an educational discount for educational programs like high schools, colleges. Mostly, I think, might just be high schools, but they have an educational discount. So if you are in an educational theater, you can get QLab discounted, or the actual price for QLab is a lot cheaper than any other space. Well, I'm not going to talk about QLab today. But anyway, talk. But I'm saying I'll talk about QLab next time. So thank you guys for watching, and have a wonderful day.